Guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the BERNY AM7110M. I received this watch for free from the BERNY official website. I don't have to send the watch back, but you guys know the deal by now. That's not going to sway my review one way or the other. And if you find yourself wanting to pick one of these up at the end of the review, I suggest heading down to the description. I'll be leaving a link to the official website as well as the official store on AliExpress. The current retail price for this watch is $139 US, and that's before any sales or coupons. And you know they participate in those sales, so you can expect to see this come down just a little bit from time to time. The watch is available in 5 different colorways. We have the teal here for review today. They have a green, and then they have 3 different styles of gray that you can see here, and I think they all look pretty good. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal, a push-pull crown, a screw-down caseback, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, and is powered by the Seagull ST2130 high-beat automatic movement. So I'm really sorry for the back-to-back BERNY videos, but yeah, this one got requested quite a bit, so yeah, and for good reason. I think it looks great, and it has a movement that's quite impressive for a watch that's under 150 bucks. But is it all rainbows and butterflies? Let's dig in and let's find out. Before we do a quick wrist check for the day. And I'm wearing a custom build. So I just built this one this weekend. I found these kind of vintage Explorer 2 style cases on AliExpress. I picked it up, threw in the dial and the hands, and I think it turned out awesome. Obviously not perfect, but you know, it kind of scratched my itch for my Grail watch, and I'm just playing the waiting game for someone like San Martin or Chronos or somebody else to make this exact watch just nicer. That's all. So, all right, let's get to the dimensions. We got a diameter of just under 38 millimeters, case thickness of 10 millimeters, and a 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 47.2 millimeters. And on the supplied leather strap, weighs 61 grams. So I think the size is really nice. You know, it's 38 millimeters, 10 millimeters thick, really nice thickness on it. And you can see it's got some nice turn down to the lugs as well. This thing hugs the wrist really nicely. It wears nice. It's nice and lightweight as well. I like the way it wears. I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. So here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and I think it wears great. Really happy with it. You got lots of light play off the case there as well. Nice polished chamfers and stuff like that, which we'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, I mean, it wears great. You got nice turn down to the lugs. It hugs the wrist nicely. It's, you know, pretty thin, 10 millimeters thick. I mean, that's nothing. So I'm very happy with the way this thing wears and the way this thing looks. I think it looks great. It looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And popping out in some direct sunlight here, you can see, I mean, it looks great. You got lots of texture on the dial. Hopefully that's coming across. And yeah, I think it looks really good. The color kind of disappears in the sun, which is unusual. But yeah, I think otherwise it looks pretty good. You can see here when the sun hits it just right, it doesn't do a great job of keeping the dial clear. No anti-reflective coating on this thing, and it's kind of an issue. It's not horrible, but it could be better. But yeah, I do think it looks really good. The strap seems to be comfortable as well, and not a huge fan of the color combination, but it is what it is. At least it's not a terrible strap, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's go throw this on some straps and we'll get back. Yeah, here we are on a nice tan leather strap. This is from Straps Co., and I think that looks great. That's kind of what I've been wearing it mostly on. It sounds like the ducks agree. I'm gonna have to go feed them so they shut up for a little bit, but yeah, I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah, here we are on another Straps Co. strap. This one's just a black rubber strap. I promise this is not sponsored by Straps Co. I just happen to like these 2 straps on this watch. So yeah, what do you guys think about that? I like the look of it. Looks nice. Nice and simple and clean. Yeah, here we are on a single pass strap here. This is a sweat pant material strap from CNS Watch Bands. I'll be leaving their link down below, and I think that looks really good. What do you guys think about that one? Looks good. Even with one layer underneath it, it still just hugs the wrist really nicely. And lastly, here we are on just a gray nylon strap, 2 layers underneath the watch there, and it still just sits great. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. I actually like this combo quite a bit. Yeah, that looks good. What do you guys think about that? All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing. And so this is kind of where it falls apart just a little bit. It's not horrible, but yeah, they definitely could do a little bit better of a job here. So starting off, we have a fully polished bezel. The polishing is done really nice. I've got no issues with the polishing. It's nice and smooth. You can see I've picked up a couple scratches over here, but that's kind of to be expected with a polished bezel. The brushing on the tops of the lugs here, it is a pretty nice brushing, a little bit angular, as you can see there. And then flipping it over to the case sides here, you've got a vertical brushing. I'm just not a fan of vertical brushing, and I don't really think BERNY does a great job with their vertical brushing. They do this on quite a few of their watches, and I would prefer if they just did a longitudinal brushing across the whole lugs there. I think it would look better, and I think they'd get better results. It's just not done great. That's really all I can say about that. And here you can see on the crown side here, you have an unsigned polished crown there. The crown guards on this thing are again, not great. You can see the crown, it's not quite centered in there. It's a little bit hard to get a grip on the crown. So yeah, those crown guards, they block it just a little bit too much almost. And I don't like the fact that they just make a straight vertical cut right through the crown guard there. I really like it when companies kind of nestle, they nestle this crown inside like a circular cut from this direction here. Yeah, for example, just something I have right here, you can see the crown guards on this Cadison, they're kind of cut circular, like right around the crown, and that's what I prefer. I think it looks better. It's definitely cleaner from the top. So yeah, this thing, it just doesn't look great when it comes to the crown. It's just a small crown too. It's just not, just doesn't feel like it belongs on this watch. And then adding further to my kind of nitpicks of this case here, when you get up real nice and close on these chamfers, these polished chamfers that run along the case here, they're just not crisp at all. I mean, you can see it's very soft, and that's on every single one of them. You know, it just doesn't, it's just not great. And when you bring in a watch, even, you know, like a Pagani design here, I'm not going to show this watch, but those chamfers are a lot more crisp. And they look a lot better because of it. So it's just another, just a small negative about this watch. Again, you know, from a distance, it looks fine. I've got no problems with it. And the thing about this case is it's extremely thin, which is awesome. It's got nice curve down to it. Everything on the bottom edge here is nice and soft as well. So it's a very comfortable case. And flipping it over to the case back here, you have circular brushing on the bottom of the lugs, circular brushing on the case back itself, simple notches to get your tool in there, and then it's got your, you know, BERNY spec sheet around the outside, and everything is nice and peachy down here. It's nice and soft, and again, yeah, it's a nice case. I think they just could have executed it just a little bit better, and it would have made it a much nicer watch, in my opinion. Now let's talk about the crystal. First things first, we will test it for sapphire. A nice strong reading for sapphire. So it is a sapphire crystal. It is perfectly flat, and it is perfectly flush with the case there, as you can see. No anti-reflective coating, which is a little bit of a problem. Not too bad, but yeah, definitely could use a couple layers of AR coating on this thing. But again, it's a flat crystal, so it's usually not a big deal for legibility. All right, so let's talk about the dial on this thing. And the dial is, obviously, it's the kind of the star of the show on this thing. Really nicely done. Really cool texture pattern to it as well. It's a fume dial, so it's lighter color teal in the middle and then almost black towards the outside. Around the outside, you have a simple printed minute track with kind of sub-seconds printed there, and then your 5, 10, 15 counters all the way around. And then on the inside here, you have your applied hour markers. So it is a pilot style watch with the hours on the inside, minutes on the outside. Nice and easy and quick to read this thing. Absolutely love the dial layout on it. The applied indices, they're done pretty good. I mean, when you get really close to them, they kind of, you can see where they're, you know, not perfect, but, you know, from a distance on wrist, they look great. Really, really cool. The daytime Lume color, I think it's a pretty good match, pretty much spot on. It is BGW9 Lume. We'll get to the Lume shot here in just a second. You have a kind of semi-chamfered date window here at the 3 o'clock position. I really wish they would have just ditched that, but I know the date feature is quite important for some people, so yeah, it's nicely done though. So the BERNY logo here, I wish they would do something a little bit different there. It's just kind of printed on this kind of block. It just doesn't look great, and it's a little bit big. I know that's kind of been a complaint from people throughout the entire BERNY lineup. They don't like the brand name, and they don't like the big text. And yeah, it's not, it doesn't look great here. It's simple automatic, 10 atmospheres down there at the 6 o'clock. And that's done pretty nicely. The printing is done nicely. The handset on this, really cool. Syringe tips there. Why isn't that? There you go. Really cool syringe tips to them. Nice size, nice length. I think they look great. Simple second hand, reaches right out to the minute track, and there you can see the nice sweep of the ST2130. Yeah, no major complaints with the dial. I think it's great. The Lume is also really good, so I'm going to pop up a Lume shot right now, and here you can see it against some of the other watches in the collection, and it definitely holds its own. It's got that ice blue color to it. It lasts all night long. Nice even application. I've got no problems reading this even in the middle of the night. It's good. It's really good Lume. Okay, so let's talk about the movement in this thing. So I'm going to pop up the time grapher shot right here, and here's how you can see it's running. When it was first out of the box and fully wound, it was running pretty much dead on. You can see it's kind of settled in at about 5 to 7 seconds a day, and it's great. Nice strong beat error as well, so very healthy movement. I'm very happy with it. It is the Seagull ST2130, which is an ETA 2824 clone, so 28,800 beats per hour, so 8 ticks of the second hand every second. It hacks, it hand winds. It's a really nice movement. It is all operated by this 3 o'clock unsigned crown. It is just a simple push-pull crown here. So this first position here is hand winding. It's a nice smooth hand winding. I've had one of these movements in the past. It's been a long time, and you know, I've had plenty of the PT5000s, which is also a clone of the ETA, and this one definitely feels a lot smoother to hand wind. So that's nice to see. Again, this crown is just so small and tucked in there, so that, you know, these crown guards, they get in the way of hand winding it, so that's kind of a problem. And again, it's just a push-pull crown, so you pull it out to the first position here, and this is where you change the date. And then you pull it out to the second position, and this is where you change the time. And yeah, everything works as it should. I've got no problems with this movement. Very happy with it, actually. I'm pretty happy with it overall. And I'm definitely going to be looking for more of these ST2130s. I don't know why the PT5000 has gotten so much love over the last year or so, but I am actually pretty happy with this one, and I think you guys will be too. So I was trying to get to the date changeover so you guys can see it. It is a instant changeover right at midnight, so that's nice to see as well. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with the movement. And so let's talk about the strap on this thing. So the strap is, it's okay. It's not my favorite style of strap. I don't like these color match styles because, as you can see here, the color doesn't match perfectly. It's kind of this really matte finish leather. It's not a suede. It's just a matte finish, color match stitching there. It's a good length. I'm kind of right in the middle here for my 7.5-inch wrist. You have BERNY signed hardware here. Just not the nicest hardware. It's fully brushed, or sorry, it's fully polished, and it's just not a very high quality. It's not flopping around, so I mean, it works. It works perfectly fine. But yeah, it's just nothing special. One floating keeper, one stationary keeper. Flipping it over to the bottom side, you have your BERNY branding, genuine leather. It does have quick release, which is nice to see. And yeah, it's nice. It tapers from 20 down to 18 millimeters at the clasp. And yeah, I'm not really sure what else to tell you. It's pretty soft and flexible right out of the box. If you like this style, it's going to wear in pretty nicely, I think, and it's going to be pretty comfortable overall. But I'm just not a fan of this. I've been throwing it on that kind of gray suede strap you saw earlier, and I think it looks a whole lot better. But if you're one to keep a watch on the stock strap, this one is actually pretty good. BERNY usually uses pretty nice straps on their stuff, and this is really no exception. It's a nice strap. It's just not my favorite style. So this is an homage watch, maybe one that's pretty unfamiliar with you because it was released just recently. The original one was released just recently, and it's from a brand you wouldn't expect this style of watch from. But yeah, it's really nicely done. I think they did an excellent job on the dial. The strap is pretty decent. The lume is fantastic. The movement is awesome. The case shape is awesome, even if it's not finished to the level that I want this watch to be finished to. It's really nice, and I like the way that it wears. I like the size of it. I like a lot of it. Nothing that I discussed here was a deal breaker for me. So if you like the style, I don't think there's many watches in this style out there, and I think it's a really nice style. So if you are interested in this watch, I suggest picking it up. I give it the go. You're going to enjoy it, I think, as long as you go in knowing that the case finishing isn't perfect. It's a really nice watch. So if you guys are interested in this, again, I'll be leaving links down below. That's to the official store and to the official store on AliExpress. And yeah, go get it. I think it's really nice. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.